Welcome to the first post-game episode of The Independent here. I'm Pete Sampson, back at my hotel at Fortuna, still at Hard Rock Stadium. We were together tonight to watch Notre Dame's 27-24 loss to Miami. And as I'm sort of like processing this a little bit, like how am I going to write my column? We kind of get into the what does it all mean? I find that I'm almost like underreacting to this. Does that make sense to you?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Okay.
And I don't want to minimize this.
Right.
College football is a special, unique sport. You hear Marcus Freeman say it. You hear every coach say it. Like, you're only guaranteed 12 opportunities. And I firmly believe that. That's how I approach covering these games. Like, it's awesome. And I'm going to miss it like crazy in February when it's cold and it's gone. All that being said, we are in a different era now where you can play a game against a top 10 Miami team on the road. You can lose said game. You'd rather not, but you can. And I come out of this one definitely disappointed because it was there for the taking, and
Sure.
Notre Dame was favored, and they got pushed around in a way you don't see Notre Dame get pushed around. Although, look, if Miami's nothing else under Mario Cristobal, they are tough SOBs in the trenches, wherever that guy goes. He is a lineman's lineman. But I just got the sense, even for Marcus Freeman, and I got down there before you did, Pete, but like a group of us, it's a backstory, and I'm writing about this if you want to read the nitty gritty, but the game, we're not allowed on the field at Miami for post game like we are at some places. So we're all waiting for a press box elevator to get down. It's not coming. A few of us just break off, run among the fans, get down there. And I'm not really sure where I'm going, but I get into a room and I literally bump into Marcus Freeman. He's there holding the stat sheet right next to the podium. And the only people in the seats are Pete Bavacqua and like people from Notre Dame's traveling party. So I don't know how long he's been there, but by this point, he's already shaken hands with Miami, got into Notre Dame's locker room, gave his post-game speech, and got to the press room. And he's there. Katie Lonergan, his right-hand woman's there. And I'm like, hey, the elevator was down. A lot of people are coming. I'm just letting you guys know.
Yeah.
And someone says, Coach, you can go. And he said, I'll wait. And he waited for more people to come. And I say all this to say, for a guy who just lost a top 10 matchup, like, coaches, and Marcus Freeman's different. He's a nice human being, unlike a lot of his peers. But if this was the most devastating, crushing, playoff-ending loss in the world, Marcus Freeman's not sitting there saying, yeah, I'll wait for you guys. No problem. While you slackers get your stuff together. And we've seen him go ahead without it too. And again, through no fault of his own. And I just think like that's like a glimpse of the environment that we're in right now, as far as like, okay, back to the drawing board. Where do we go from here? And look, I think it personally sucks for Notre Dame. They probably that they have a bye next week, because I'm sure everyone in that locker room and on the flight home right now is like, I want to play tomorrow and win. And they got to wait. And awaiting them on the other end of that bye is another very good football team. And the pressure on that game will absolutely be amplified a lot, because you don't want to start 0-2. You just don't.
No. It felt like Marcus Freeman kind of felt like an NFL coach who lost a regular season game.
Yes.
Like, that's what it felt like to me. And it's like you mentioned, back to the drawing board. It's like, well, you definitely have your quarterback figured out. Like, chose the right guy there. You didn't use your best offensive player nearly enough. Like, that was really poor. So you kind of know where you need to take the game plan. I thought that both lines probably need, this will be like a cattle prod, where at watching film of this game. Cause like they got out offense and defensive lined in this game, which like, I think Miami is probably going to do that to almost everybody. There's Notre Dame does not have a birth rate on good line play, because Marcus Freeman talks about it. Because Mario Cristobal probably talks about it even more than Marcus Freeman does.
He does.
So like the fact that like Miami had been building to a night like this for 3+ years since they hired Cristobal. Like, Notre Dame's already had their nights like this. Like, they've already had the breakthrough performances under Freeman. I mean, he had one in his first year. Cristobal has sort of been waiting on it. This kind of felt like a pretty significant step for the Miami. Sunday
It was a
night felt
bigger
very
win for
significant
Miami
for
than it was
Miami.
lost for Notre Dame.
Yeah, this was I think going into it, we would have agreed. Maybe we talked about this. This was going to be a bigger moment for Miami to win than Notre Dame to win. As you watched the game finish up and you saw Miami celebrate it and Notre Dame process it, I think that backed up all of that.
Yeah, I just think it's the world we live in now. And look, as you're watching it in real time, and particularly at the end of the second quarter and the start of the third quarter, as you see Miami have double-digit play drives that go for 75-plus yards each and result in touchdowns, you're thinking, what the hell? Like, this defense is not as advertised. And I'm on record as saying I thought at the beginning of the year this could challenge to be the best defense in the country. Certainly not tonight. But it is the first game. And they figured it out at the end. I mean, after that opening touchdown drive of the third quarter, Miami had 4 drives that netted, I think, 15 yards on 13 total plays. Now, Notre Dame couldn't get the stop that ultimately decided the game with a field goal. And there's a lot to pick apart as far as starting slow and not putting yourself in that hole to begin with. But I don't come out of this game like overly concerned of like, oh, wait, this is going to be a problem or this is going to be this. I thought if they lost this game, it would be due to a backbreaking mistake or simply overwhelmed first time quarterback in CJ Carr. And he was the opposite. I mean, he made some mistakes, surely, but
there was a backbreaking mistake.
There was, but
I mean, he responded to it quite nicely.
He responded nicely, but I think blame for that goes as much on Mike Denbrock as it does.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
I mean, Notre Dame did not trail by 14 points in a game at all last year until the national title game. And they just did it in the fourth quarter of this game, the first game ever, starting game for CJ Carr. And he brought him back to tie. And you know what? I mean, very, very tough situation. Get the ball back 1 minute, no timeouts, gets that Miami defense.
Yeah,
but I wasn't
back
like
up left tackle.
Yeah, but I wasn't like, well, like I was, holding out hope. I was excited, like, to see what he can do. It wasn't like he showed me enough through the previous 3+ quarters where I'm like, all right, let's see if he can do this. Like, this is exciting. This isn't scary. He's got a habit of never going down and always throwing the ball in any which direction. Multiple grounding plays, one of which was literally like a toss to the Miami sideline. But also like the touchdown pass he threw, like that's a throw. I don't know. And you covered Jimmy Clausen, but in my time covering this program, I've not seen a Notre Dame quarterback make a throw like that has my jaw drop. And, if you gave the defense a shot of truth serum, would have them being like, oh shit, this guy's like the real deal. Like that's a throw that, and everything about that play, from the scramble to the identifying Gilbert to looking the other way, hitting him, like that is a big what throw. And Notre Dame has not had that at the quarterback position in my whatever year it is. I think 15+ years covering them. Like that changes things. That and this is this guy's first start. I thought all along the basis for starting CJ Carr over Kenny Minchie was not to beat Miami. It was to win a national championship. And to win a national championship, you need to take your lumps and get that experience throughout the regular season and then peak in December and January. And again, long way between now and then. But that throw alone is one where I'm like, okay, yep, they got their guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought the way he ran the ball, while not a strength of his, I don't think, like, he ground out, like he took some shots and kept popping up. Like at the end of the game, I think the broadcast was showing him on the sidelines as Miami was going down to kick what proved to be the game-winning field goal, and he's just like on the headset, I'm good, like not freaking out. He seemed like he had done this before, even though he's never done this before. And I agree completely. It's like if you watch tonight and you're a Notre Dame fan and you're ticked off, I think that what should outweigh that is like you're really intrigued about what November, December, and January could look like with CJ Carr. Maybe this year. It's like they've got there was stuff in this game tonight, and I think that Miami's I can't remember if it was their first touchdown or second touchdown, is like when CJ Williams puts a double move on Leonard Moore and then
Daniels, the second touchdown.
CJ Daniels, and then Adon Schuler essentially like gets caught of two minds there. It's like, should I pick this off? Should I hit him? Like, I'm not going to do either. And then it ends in a one-handed, like, really amazing catch. Like, that won't happen the rest of the season. Like, Leonard Moore's not going to get beat on a double move, and Adon Schuler's not going to turn down contact on the same play the rest of the season. So I thought there was certainly some funky stuff that happened that was out of character. Like, I don't think that Bryce Young will be invisible most of the season. Like, he didn't really show up today. I thought that the offensive line was sort of fine. Certainly they labored at the end. Just there was some things that I thought were, I don't know, I wouldn't say they were like wildly out of character for Notre Dame, but just like, I think we've seen enough of Leonard Moore and Adon Schuler to sort of know what they're about. And on that play, they weren't about it. I think that's the exception, not the rule. I would also say, if you're like looking at Notre Dame's box score, you see what Jeremiah Love had 10 carries, and I think Jadarian Price had 6. I would think they would each have 16 carries against Texas A&M. They will overcorrect on that because it's the right thing to do. If you're frustrated about anything and you're a Notre Dame fan right now, I think that the offensive game plan is where you could start and probably where you could finish. I think the rest of the stuff will work itself out. And I think the offensive game plan will probably work itself out too. Like, Jeremiah Love's not going to get used like this moving forward. I don't think Jadarian Price is going to use like this moving forward. They're too valuable, and I don't know what sort of where Denbrock's head was at with how he used Carr tonight, because I liked what they did in the beginning of the game, where it was just, let's get some easy throws, let's chuck it, let's throw horizontally here just to sort of get them in rhythm. But then they just kept doing that the rest of the game. The entire game felt like it was a vehicle to get CJ Carr comfortable, when I think he was probably already comfortable. That was a very strange part of it to me.
It's funny. Like, I was in Columbus yesterday, and that was like the Arch Manning game plan, where it's like, and Sark talked about him like he was a newcomer. It's like, he's a Manning and he's a junior. Like,
yeah,
you'd be beyond this by now. Bryce Young had the huge rush on 3rd and 8 to get the ball back and tie the game in the 4th quarter on Carson Beck. But yes, I mean, they did not get home rushing 4 all night. And Marcus Freeman talked about that a little bit afterward. Did Miami have the best CJ and the best Malachi in the field tonight? I don't know. Malachi Tony, 17 years old.
Malachi Tony was real good.
He was in the post-game press conference, and he looks and sounds 17, except when he's on the field. I will say this. I wouldn't say this is a concern, just because I personally was not like all that high on it. It's a very low bar to clear for this to be the best group of receivers Notre Dame has had under Marcus Freeman.
Right.
I don't know if they cleared it tonight, quite frankly. But I do think there was so much talk of like, well, Miami lost all their good receivers. What's Carson Beck going to do? No, like, Notre Dame, this is what a program that can develop and recruit receivers looks like. They put guys out there that were making plays all night. Miami did. And I thought Beck, when he had time, was sharp and good. But that's from a program standpoint, that's the disheartening part to me, is like, we got so much like fed to us this offseason about how much better these receivers are. And then Malachi Fields fumbles the ball away in the 1st quarter, which just can't happen.
No, I mean, Jaden Grayhouse, zero catches for Jaden Grayhouse. The way he finished last season, that's and like, you missed the block there at the end, or on the interception. I'm not sure like anybody was going to block that guy, but just I was Will Pauling, a captain, no catches. Like, just that part was pretty disappointing.
Very disappointing. Eli Raridon was great. I will say this, and tight end's a quarterback's best friend, new quarterback's best friend, and that was certainly the case tonight. I think it was a 27-yard pass to Fields, 1-on-1. That was like the first time. I'm sure their advanced stats still show this. 26-yard. I'm sorry. That was the only time I felt like Carr really aired it out until the end. As far as like,
I really look forward to go back and like yards per target down the field. Like, it was nothing. I think
it was. Well, the ESPN's broadcast, I wrote it down. it was in the first half. There was a stretch. Let me find it. I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Yeah, it was sometime in the first half. Carr was 6 for his first 9. Every completion was thrown within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a little Drew Pine-esque from back in the day. Like that's
now the release was very quick. ESPN was showing that too, and the people who were watching this, at home the whole time could speak to it better. But like, he got rid of that ball within 2 seconds every time.
Yeah.
But I don't like. I never got the feeling he was uncomfortable. And again, it's easy for us to say up here, but like you can usually see it. You see first-time quarterbacks just not really be in a rhythm or know what they're doing. I felt like CJ Carr knew what he was doing. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to take away from this game. Again, I think the consequence of this is like, holy crap, you better beat Texas A&M, which is no sure thing.
Yeah.
But I just think, and I came out of yesterday, group of us covering Arch, we come out of the Sark press conference losing Ohio State, and we're like, he seemed really upbeat for a guy who just lost. And I'm not saying Freeman was upbeat, but it was, I think he gets it. Like, okay, like we know what we got. Like we got the hard part figured out, right? We got the quarterback. He's only going to get better. He's not going to face a defensive line like this one for the most part the rest of this year. I mean, maybe A&M's, but
no. I mean, just think of what A&M was last year. I can't imagine they're going to be that good.
I think there's some addition by subtraction on A&M, but yeah, I don't know if they'll be that good. But yeah, I mean that's the hard part when you play a game like this on a Sunday night and you got a bye week. Like that sucks for everybody, right? Like we want more football. I mean, if you lose, you really want to get back to the drawing board.
I mean, it's like I was thinking about. We cover these so many games, and like every game feels like another game that we've covered. But I had a really hard time figuring out like, does this loss feel like any of Freeman's other losses? And it really doesn't. Like it's probably the only time that I left a loss under Freeman where I was like, you do not have to squint to sort of see the positives and what's like
right.
What's there? I mean, I'll read off these losses. You tell me if you walk out of any of these thinking
Oklahoma State is a favorite to a power non-Stanford team,
Oklahoma
right?
State, Ohio State in Columbus, Marshall, Stanford, USC, Caleb Williams show, Ohio State with 10 men on the field, blown out at Louisville, Clemson dud, Northern Illinois, and then the national championship game. Like
Louisville, their favorite, I think. But yeah, I mean,
but like they got their ass kicked at Louisville,
right?
Like that's not what happened tonight.
But also, like even when they were down, you've got friends, I'm sure, that blow you up in game. Actually, I know you do because some of them text both of us together in games from time to time. But like, I never. And again, like I'm not playing, I'm not coaching, I'm not rooting, but I never like panicked about them in this game, if that makes sense. Like it was 21-7 and they get to 21-14 on the first play of the fourth quarter. And my mind is Marcus Freeman's on that sideline and Mario Cristobal's on this sideline. How is one going to screw it up and how's the other going to take it? And
God knows there were points where it felt like the other one was going to screw it up.
But no, I mean, like Miami completely stopped offensively. They were given a gift of an interception on a predictable play. They turned that into a field goal. And then to their credit, on that last drive, they did a good job of running the football, getting just enough yards, running the clock. And that kicker, who, statistically did not have a great track record, ends up booting one from 48 yards or whatever it was to win the game. I mean, give them credit. Again, I think this is like a monumental win for what Mario Cristobal is building here at Miami. I don't look at it as a devastating loss for Notre Dame. It's a disappointing loss. It's very disappointing when you can technically say they're now on a 2-game losing streak, and maybe that turns to 3 with A&M. I don't know. Like, the vibes, change quickly around here. But here, I had some stats I wrote down for my story that's going up. 3 touchdown drives of 70 or more yards for Miami was disappointing. The 14 I mentioned. The middle 8, Notre Dame gave up 17 points in the middle 8 all of last season before the national title game. They gave up, well, actually only 7 tonight, but 14 for all intents and purposes. And where's the other one I had? Oh, They didn't give up 27 points a game last year until the national title game.
Yeah. I mean, the defense, and I do think like of the stuff that we saw tonight, they would be like, that might be predictive in a bad way. Maybe the defense is just really good and not great.
Like I think it'd still be great. I mean, look, Miami got the necessary yards, but they had to work for it. It wasn't, let's see, 119 rushing yards, 3.1 yards per rush. Like,
yeah, that I mean, my biggest concern, despite Freeman's protests otherwise, was like that the interior defensive line would get shoved around. They really didn't. Like, they didn't get pressure like they needed to get pressure. I mean, right. I think essentially like Notre Dame lost the game in the middle eight, like you pointed out, when they couldn't get pressure. The one time they did get pressure on Carson Beck, he threw this, the great pass that was a one-handed catch for the touchdown. That play doesn't happen all the time. So I don't know. I thought the secondary was fine. Like I said earlier,
the first touchdown was the first play Gray went out. I know they didn't target his man. I think it was Carson.
Yeah, no, I mean they got
it still was.
Yeah,
not
I did
proper.
Hobbs is first time starter against hot, Malik Toney. I thought he was outstanding, and I felt like
put some respect on his name. Just because he's not
I'm like the press box announcer.
Yeah.
That I mean, I just felt like, and I to Miami's credit, I thought their game plan about how they attacked Notre Dame's aggressive defensive back play was really good. Like they had a lot of like sort of in-breaking routes that then would cut back out. That I think there was one where Christian Gray sort of like overjumped it because he was too aggressive. Like there's a lot. They did a lot of good stuff too. And I think that was sort of one of Marcus Freeman's big points afterwards is like, we played a really good team when we lost by 3. He didn't say, what do you want? We've got a first-time starting quarterback on the road at night in the rain against one of the most experienced quarterbacks in college football. Like, sometimes you lose that game by 3 points, especially when you're -2 in turnovers. Like, that's just there's not this doesn't feel ominous in any way, shape, or form to me. It was a football game that they lost, and the statistics would explain it pretty easily why they lost it. They just need to figure out a way to take a little bit off CJ Carr's arm and put more of it onto Jeremiah Love's legs.
Lose the turnover margin 2-0 to lose the line of scrimmage battle. Like I feel like that cuts to the core of who Marcus Freeman and this program are and want to be. But again, they lost by 3.
The only game they were -2 in turnovers last year, I think, was Northern Illinois.
That sounds about right. I mean, you're not going to win too many games that way, and these guys almost did. The Love part to me just makes no sense. 10 carries.
Yeah, if you want to be infuriated about something, that is where you can be infuriated like that.
But Miami, they didn't directly say, at least none of the players directly said like, oh, we knew that was we knew what they were going to do as far as like CJ Carr's pick that bounced a million different ways and went on someone's leg. But it just felt very predictable. And again, it's a throw Carr can't make or force, but I'm sure he's doing what he's told or what he thinks he's told. And that it was 2nd and 2 on that play.
And
Love was
just run for 8 yards.
It's not like Love was hurt or they were rotating a lot. I mean, they rotated some, but like there were chunks and chunks of drives where Love's on the field. And it's like, what is he, a decoy? Like what?
Yeah.
What's he doing? And by the way, this might be an unpopular take. I know it would be if they won. The guy's got to stop hurdling. He's going to give this fan base a heart attack. Like he hurdles every single time. And like, I feel like you're just testing fate at this point.
He gets up there, man.
He does. But like, you don't do that.
He almost hurdled 3 guys in one leap tonight. He was impressive physically for a stat line that, doesn't really jump off the page. Before we keep going on the game and some questions, probably Roback, one of our lead sponsors. We appreciate them. You can go to roback.com. That's RHOBACK.com. Use promo code Irish for 20% off your first order. They had a new line of officially licensed Notre Dame merch drop in the last couple of weeks. You've seen Jordan Faison, who got off to a nice start tonight, modeling it. New hoodie, couple new quarter zips, couple new polos. They've been generous enough to send some of those my way. They look great. So yeah, rollback.com, promo code Irish for 20% off your first order.
And thank you to our friends at Obvious Shirts. It's obviousshirts.com, OBVIOUSSHIRTS.com. Great pod gear. Got quarter zips, hoodies, crew necks, t-shirts, and much more. Some of your favorite sayings from the show and from Notre Dame. And please, if you have any suggestions for a shirt, send them our way. We'd love to see them on people's chests at Notre Dame Stadium in 2 weeks for the home opener against Texas A&M. So thank you to our friends at obviousshirts.com. Would like to also thank our partners at DraftKings. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back. You think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. With live betting, rivalry week, odds boosts, and more, DraftKings has everything you need to own every Saturday. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code INDEPENDENT. That's code INDEPENDENT for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Pete, how about we go to some questions? Sarah McGuire, friend of the show. The loss seems to be more a reflection of poor play calling by the offense, too many lateral short yardage gains in the first quarter, and just poor defense overall. I thought Carr looked good. I tend to agree with that entire assessment. I don't know if I'd say poor. What? What's so funny? You're muted, Pete. It says you're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I was also going to agree with Sarah. I think she's got a great take on that. Yeah, it's. I think there was. I understand starting with a lot of laterals, but then it was just the entire game plan felt like it was getting CJ Carr comfortable on the first drive, and by the sixth drive, you're like, all right, could we give the ball to Jeremiah Love, which apparently, and this is not to belabor the interception, but if at halftime Marcus Freeman says we need to lock onto some runs to Jeremiah Love, no more RPO read type stuff. And yet, in the fourth quarter, you're running an RPO read type thing that ends up with an interception. Like, what happened there? What's the disconnect?
Their first touchdown drive, how many times? I counted 3. It was probably more. I have to go back and watch, where they did trips left or trips right and would hand it off to Price in the opposite direction. Darn near every single play. 2 great effects. But I just kept thinking that was like the appetizer to the big play or to something that they were going to do to show off CJ Carr's arm. And the time we got it ended up being on that drive when he avoided a sack at the 6-yard line, backpedaled to the 29, and looked to the right, threw to the left, and hit Micah Gilbert for an awesome touchdown pass.
Yeah.
That one,
I mean,
if they won this game,
Carr looked good.
If they won this game, we'd be replaying that one for a long, long time.
And this popped in my head while writing tonight, like Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, Ty Simpson, CJ Carr. Carr probably looked the best of those 4, honestly. Like, and it's not like he threw for 350 yards tonight, but I'm saying, like, as a first-time starting quarterback, like, it's hard to do it. If you watch Texas Ohio State, you saw 2 first-time starting quarterbacks. It's hard to do. It was hard for CJ Carr tonight, but I thought that he answered the bell more than pretty much any other ballyhooed first-time starter in college football this weekend.
Yeah, I think he was a bigger part of the offense than all those guys were, right? Like, Sayin was good, and Ohio State, I have serious concerns about their running game, and so I thought he had to do more on his own. Made a money throw to Carnell Tate, but like, I think he was 13 of 20. Like, they didn't let him decide the game.
No.
They let Carnell Tate and try to let Jeremiah Smith decide the game, and life's a little bit easier when you got those guys to throw to. I think Carr, for as much of the first half game plan was designed to ease him in and get him comfortable. To your point, I feel like it was a little too much. Like I think he's got this thing, I think he'll be okay.
One more tunnel screen is not going to make the difference.
And they seem predictable. I mean, Raritan of what, 7 catches for 90 something yards? It was 5 catches for 97 yards. But there were a couple drops and there were a couple where the timing just wasn't right. It was like,
I think he had the holding penalty as well.
Yes.
On a love run too. So it's like he had statistically a good game, but I think if you watch the whole thing, it was just sort of like, but again, he has not had a lot of statistically good games in his career. He's a guy that we've been told all off season, like, that he's going to break out. This is an elite tight end. I think you at least saw enough. You're like, I'd like to see more, but like, I can kind of see where that's going.
Sarah added kind of what we said. Carr will only get better, but we likely only have one loss to give up. We have to be near perfect the rest of the season. I agree. You lose your mulligan, so to speak. I still think 10-2 would get you in, even if it's not like the most impressive 10-2 in the world. Notre Dame, 10 wins, reigning national runner-up, TV show. They're not going to say no, but
like, especially like, I realize when we left College Station a year ago, you're like, that's a great win. It really, like, in the end, it didn't really hold up. Like, it held up for a while and then it fell off a cliff in November.
They needed that though. I mean, as far as to offset
my point is more like, I think Miami is going to be a good loss longer than A&M was a good win, if that makes sense. Like, Miami's going to win 10 games. Like,
yeah, they should.
That feels like a stone cold lock. So you lost to a probable playoff team by 3 points on the road with a first time starting quarterback. Like, I don't think that's such a, an indictment of your schedule or where you are. Like, that's a fine loss.
This year's different than last year because of what preceded it. Like, Notre Dame will get the benefit of the doubt now, subconsciously or not.
Sure.
Because they proved it last year. Whereas the jury was still very much out last year of like, oh, they lost to NIU. Well, just like they lost to Marshall and they blew it to Ohio State and yada, yada, yada. Like, that's all gone.
Somebody in the questions was like, I think you said some of this stuff after Northern Illinois last year. I'm like, no, we didn't. Like,
no.
Northern Illinois was like, I don't think it's going to work out with Marcus Freeman. Like, the next loss is the one that he's.
I don't know if I went that far, and I do remember like staving off the pitchforks of like bench Leonard because I thought he was the best option they had. But
think about
there was no part of me was like, this is a playoff team after that. It was like,
after Northern Illinois, it was head coach sucks, quarterback sucks. After tonight, you're like, quarterback's pretty good. Head coach, I think we kind of know is pretty good at this point. So it's fine. Like, you lost a game. Life goes on.
It's fun. And you know what? I'm sure I'll get to some that are not as forgiving, but like, okay, I'm just going to put a bunch in here right now. Tristan Tahara, I'm very glass half full in this game. Yes, we had some issues, but Carr did pretty darn good on the road against top 10 team. Jeremy Whaley, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Why do I feel numb about the loss? Like, it ticks me off, but I'm nowhere near as disappointed as I should be.
No, Jeremy, I don't think you're numb. You just have perspective. Like, that's fine. Like, this is a good thing.
It's a holiday weekend. Maybe you just drink a lot, win or lose, which I'm not blaming you for.
I mean, I have this written in my column already. Like, I feel like, I swear to God, every time Notre Dame loses a game, it is a referendum on everything at Notre Dame, how committed they are to football. Does the head coach know what he's doing? What's their scheduling philosophy? Where's their training table? Like, should they be taking transfers? Like, it gets real big picture, like, in a freaking hurry around here. And tonight, it's like, this isn't a referendum on anything.
Yeah, no,
it's a football game that they lost.
I mean, look, there are 3 top 10 games this week, which meant there were going to be 3 top 10 teams that lost.
Yeah.
Notre Dame happened to be one of them. And I wasn't as high on Clemson as I think some of our media brethren were this year. But like Notre Dame and Texas, I still think they're both going to be playoff teams.
Yeah.
And I think they both could win the national title. Not saying it will happen, but like, I don't think significantly less of them after defeat than I do before.
No, I mean, yeah, it feels. I think if Notre Dame had won, it would have felt like they stole it, even though they were favored. So I realize.
Oh, I mean, with the I mean, you
Yeah.
enter down 14 in the fourth quarter with a new quarterback. Yes, absolutely. A couple more here. Yeah, a couple that aren't that nice to Chris Ash. Probably understandably so. John McAvoy. Ash made absolutely excuse me. Ash made absolutely zero halftime adjustments. He kept rushing for over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Even my 84-year-old granny knows you can't do that back. Well, Lou Holtz and Jimmy Johnson, who are about that age, Lou's older than that, were in the house tonight. I wonder what their thoughts on it were. But yeah, I mean, Freeman addressed
also, I have to give John McAvoy his avatar there is quite nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You tweeted that, which
I did.
I think I sent you that one. And I'm going to butcher it, but there was a fan who sent it to me on Blue Sky when they released their new logo. And I immediately saved it and said, yeah, this is going to come in handy this season. I did not think it would be like the first half of tonight, but you know what? Like, cheers. Like, it's a long season. They'll adjust. They'll get back. Enjoy the bye week. Enjoy Shane Gillis next week and
self-care.
watching everything else elsewhere. And
this is on top of like Carr's average depth of target, like to put a number on how horizontal the pass game is. I hope the blitz numbers from the defense, I think, will be interesting to track too. Because it felt like not only were they not blitzing, they were playing a really soft zone where there was just a lot of stuff for Beck to pick up that was short, and Notre Dame would rally up and tackle. But then you end up with a lot of 2nd and 4s. So yeah, it was an interesting game plan. Because somebody was complaining on Twitter like, oh, this is like Brian Van Gorder all over again. Like, no. Like that was like out of control, like blitz everything, fundamentally unsound all over the place. This felt like it felt like more of a Bob Diaco, like, let's just keep the points down, keep everything in bend but don't break type stuff, which frankly almost worked. But I would agree, like, you can't have that happen to you on the first drive of the second half. Like you and I don't have a solution for how you would stop it, but when you're coming out of halftime, you're trying to make a statement on the road, that you're there to like throw some punches back, then just allow a drive to march all the way down the field of 75 yards or so. Like that was a little bit troubling to me.
Yeah, and Go Irish says, I'm surprised we only lost by 3. And if you say it how it happened, like Notre Dame lost in the trenches and Miami had better skill players. Yeah, I would say, yeah, I'm surprised.
With a -2 turnover rate.
Yeah, like let's not forget, like, it's only 3 points, but the game was 3 points. I mean, Miami had the worst snap in the history of field goal snapping on its first try, which, after the turnover, like that should have been a devastating turnover for Notre Dame, and it wasn't. And I think 24-7, the start of the fourth quarter, is a hell of a lot more daunting than 21-7, just from a mental aspect and playing the math game there. So, yeah, like it could have been worse. But, not saying this is a referendum on everything and that everyone should freak out, but it was another big game where like it felt like all the good skill players were on the other team. Even like we know how good Jeremiah Love is, but if you watch it tonight, you wouldn't think so.
Yeah, the disappearance of Greathouse was concerning.
And Pauling. And like other than Faison, who was very active, like
early.
And Carr. And again, there's obviously talent on that side of the ball, but like I was blown away by how good Miami's receivers were, because they lost like everybody. And we saw Carson Beck with new receivers last year at Georgia, and it did not go all that great. And they were in a rhythm against a very good secondary all night. But that to me was like Notre Dame still can't figure that part out. Like Miami, it's nothing for them to just, and again, I know like Miami, USC, they're programs that are going to be great at receiver every year, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But to see how great Miami was at that position and how bad Notre Dame was, again, that's one to me where I'm like, okay, like not saying it, I'm not discounting you as a national contender because of that sole problem, but that's one like significant area of improvement that we've yet to see under the Marcus Freeman regime.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Clint Novak, the ND O-line being absent all night was the biggest shocker. I wouldn't say absent. I mean, Carr didn't get sacked until that final drive, I think, right?
Yeah,
Both
and
and then
he had no chance at that point. Like, it's like you really, and Freeman said this afterwards, I agree with it. You sort of have to like take that out. Like, that's
right.
a different style of football. You're doing it with a backup left tackle. Really is probably your third string left tackle in some ways. In Styles Prescott, because Anthony Knapp had some cramping issues. So that was not. I didn't think the offensive line was good. There was a Carr quarterback run on third down where I think the guy came between where Ashton Craig and Gerby Lambert were, and I can't remember the defensive tackle's name, but he was totally unblocked. And you're just like, that's not how that's supposed to work at all. So the offensive line has some stuff to work out. I don't think they will run into a better defensive line for quite a while. I think the line probably is going to be good long term. Would they have been better tonight with Charles Jagasaw? Certainly. I think he's the best of that position, but I don't know. The line will get better. I don't know. I'm not sure I would look at that as like a huge problem long term. Like, did they play great tonight? No. But I still feel like the line will be good probably pretty quickly in the month of September.
Pat Sapkowski, Pete, that was me. I was responding to a commenter acting like the sky was falling after this game. I assume that's in the BVG comment he's referring to.
Yeah.
Important clarification. He wants
I think
to know.
so. Yeah.
And then he wants, Matt, please share my clarification. I'm very much the ND will be fine, Cam. We got it, Pat.
Yeah, I get it. It's because it's I do think the fan base maybe, and like, is Twitter real life? Thank God it's not. But I do think on Twitter, the reactions that I was getting during the game, like, you would think Notre Dame was down by like 20 points, that they were just being
They almost
depants.
were.
Yeah, but they ended up not being. They weren't depanced on national television, nor do they have like a birthright to win these games just because they won them in bulk last season. Like, it's fine to lose a regular season game like this on the road against a top 10 team with a first time starting quarterback. Like that happens all the time. It happened to more teams than just Notre Dame this weekend. So it's like, it's good that the standards are higher, I think, around here, that the program, like the fan base, expects to win these games, because I'm not sure that they did for a long time. They were just sort of hopeful, like, that eventually it would get one of them. Now they know what it tastes like. They want more. That's good. That's healthy. But I do think overall, like, if you're a Notre Dame fan, like, you weren't losing this game with all the circumstances at play. Before you get to the game plan and the turnovers, I don't think anyone would point to and say, like, it was all that shocking.
Tristan Dahara, Carr's an underrated runner, but needs to slide or get down sooner. I also completely agree with this.
Yep.
There were a few shots he took.
I will take Love hurdling. Yes, but Carr, just get the heck down. Like,
get down.
If you were playing NCAA 2026, his wear and tear, he would almost already be out of a career-ending energy from wear and tear. Not good.
Well, what would Riley Leonard be in that? Because Leonard was on steroids every single week.
Yes.
There are a lot of questions here. I will try to get to as many as we can. Appreciate you guys hanging with us for 40-plus minutes. 173 of you in here right now. It is approaching 2 a.m. Eastern time. We both have to write. I have a 6 a.m. flight that I've already moved back because I'm like,
oh my God,
yeah, that's not going to happen. But yeah, let's talk some more football.
Speaking of terrible game plans.
6 a.m. from Columbus to here. Thought I'd take a nap when I got to my hotel today. Room wasn't ready till 3. Just went up, showered, and came down here into the rain. Which, by the way, I will say, like, could have been the game moved at a pace, and we're in a weird spot where we sit in the stadium, the press box, but it moved at a place where I completely forgot that it's going to be hell getting back to my car in the mud where I parked it tonight. Like, it was not fun getting in here. And if you were a fan who was fortunate enough to be in the building tonight as well, you would probably feel the same way. But like, the game did not play out like it was like for a building that had another game yesterday and rain pretty much all day today. I thought the elements, the game, the field, everything held up fairly nicely. And it wasn't Again, it was another road loss for Notre Dame against Miami. I think that's 7 in a row now, but it wasn't. We both. I mean, you were at the 17 game, obviously, but
yeah, it was not like that.
it was not that. It was. Yeah, I wouldn't say
it like a road game.
Yeah, it felt like road, but like there were a lot of Notre Dame fans here, a lot, like more than most road games, I think, in my opinion. And this is not an on-campus stadium, which I think is part of that. But the Miami fans I saw, and again, I'm sure people have stories of some that were not all that welcoming, but like they seem to really embrace and have fun with the Catholics versus Convicts thing. Like,
I feel like I saw
up in orange suits.
I saw Miami fans wearing that shirt.
Oh yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Saw a couple that said like, "Who you calling Convicts?" Saw some that said, F the luck, and had a shamrock for the U and the F. Saw Trump with a U and the Miami U and the Trump, which apparently is a very popular one down here. Shocking.
I saw a split Bauman family jersey as well. I'm assuming that was Kevin Bauman's mom that was wearing it. I tweeted it out, but yeah, it was like it was like the Laura Quinn Ohio State.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it did go viral the way that one.
I don't think so.
Frank Bremer today wore a quarter zip with both teams at the Virginia Tech.
There was a question on the fan thing or the atmosphere from I think Conman 1248-9. It's like Pete. Some folks are saying the atmosphere wasn't nearly as wild as Texas A&M. Your thoughts? Like, no, it was not.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close.
SEC environment, 105,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, 17 Miami was the loudest game I've ever covered. Kyle Field was a really good road game. This was just like, I don't want to say it was like going to Michigan State, but there wasn't a lot about it that made it feel bigger than just like, hey, these are two good teams.
It's hard. I mean, it's a pro stadium. Like, this stadium has hosted a Super Bowl. They're hosting the national championship game later this year.
Hopefully the elevator's working by then.
Well, funny you say that. I'm not sure what. I'm in like some scoreboard operator box right now, and like there's this thing called a landline phone, which I know none of us have now. But I currently have access. If I pick this thing up right here. Oh shit. I can hit the NFL Instant Replay office right now. I can hit a locker room, a command post, NFL TV truck, NFL home bench, NFL home PR, NFL visiting bench, NFL visiting PR. So I could probably hit something here and turn all the lights out very easily. So a lot of power. It's dangerous to give to one man, especially me right now at 2 a.m. as I'm delirious. Let's see. Okay, this is something we talked about before the game. If ND loses to Go Irish says, yep, Chris, if ND loses to A&M, we're done even at 10-2. Again, don't go 0-2 would be how I answer that question. But I still think at the end of the day, 10-2 Notre Dame, the brand, it's a TV show, what they did last year, and the fact that like you're judged on your last impression. If you're on a 10-game winning streak as you enter the playoff, as Notre Dame was last year, albeit 11-1, people will forget about it. Now you can't get blown out by A&M, but it does for as like much more difficult as this year's schedule is than last year's. In the disastrous event, they do go 0-2. You do the gymnastics in your head of like, so what would their best win be at Arkansas, USC? Like that's really like Boise State ain't gonna be it. Stanford isn't. I can tell you both that much. So yeah, like there's a lot of like good but not great teams. Which, by the way, like it is crazy to me that the ACC agreement that Notre Dame has with the league to play 5 league teams a year. This is just the 3rd time they played Miami, which is the lowest of anyone. They've played NC State 3 times, so they're playing them this year, so that'll be 4. I mean,
yeah, considering Jim Phillips, the commissioner, was there tonight,
he was here, and
get that fixed, Jim.
I asked, I saw Dan Radakovich, the AD, and I said, "Are you guys going to do something similar with Notre Dame that Clemson's doing?" And he said, "Nothing planned at the moment. We need to, see if we're going to go to 9 games like the SEC did," which made me think about the Clemson series a little bit differently since they got South Carolina as well. But he said that was kind of Notre Dame and Clemson going rogue as far as scheduling that out on their own, which, hey, it's a win for the fans. So it's a win for college football. But BC, Florida State, Louisville, North Carolina, Syracuse, Wake Forest, all 5 times. Clemson 4, not including the multiple postseason matchups. And then Miami just, 3 after tonight, which you got to fix that. It's not like they were scheduled to play in 2020 and it got canceled. Like, it's just a very weird scheduling quirk. Like here, I love to see Miami every year. I think a lot of people would. Like even in the Miami postgame press conference, every question was like, "Were you aware of the history with this rivalry?" And
talk about the rivalry,
which they're aware of it because everyone keeps talking about it. But
yeah,
it does mean a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fun game.
It.
Like this was I think a rare. I mean, I'm trying to think of the Miami games that I've covered. Usually, technically both teams were good in 2017 for a minute, but Notre Dame fell apart before that game. Miami fell apart afterwards. This was, I haven't covered a lot of Notre Dame Miami games, but I feel like this is probably easily the game where both teams were the best. Like it felt like two really good teams playing each other, and
easily.
Usually, it's like one team's getting whacked by the other, or we're in El Paso for some weird reason. Like it's not this felt like a good college football game played by two really good teams that could easily meet again in December or January. Like I don't think anyone would be surprised by that.
Coach Hump, I'm not worried about Carr getting hurt. Minchie is just as good as Carr, so I'm not willing to subscribe to the out of sight, must be much worse mindset. I don't think it's that simple. Also, like Carr showed the entire world tonight stuff that none of us could have possibly known or found out without him doing it on a national stage. Not to say Kenny can't, but again, I think the commentary earlier said like he needs to get down more, be a little less aggressive. I agree. I would say that about any quarterback, regardless of season context. But I just think in this 12 team, like in these long seasons, which you're going to play if you're chasing a championship, like I don't think Chip Kelly came out and said this, but I've heard enough people who know Chip say on podcasts and other interviews, like, yeah, like Ohio State never ran Will Howard last year earlier in the year because they had no depth at the position. They knew they were screwed if he got hurt. And then they let him loose at the end and, things opened up. And again, hindsight's 20/20, but I think there's something to be said for that. The same way I think, and we didn't see too much of it tonight, but I think you've seen in big games, coaches go for it and be more aggressive on fourth down. Because I think in theory, you will not be penalized all that greatly for losing to a good team. Whereas the upside of winning obviously is tremendous. So, it's a new college football world. Like it's just we all got to get used to it. And
let's have the lesson, you Lincoln Riley.
Oh yeah, let's play so it doesn't matter. It's just different. Like the national champion last year lost 2 games, including their biggest rivalry game in their last game of the year. Don't love that, but it takes some recalculating of like the emotional spectrum.
Totally agree
on this crazy season, and hopefully we do get more games like this one because this was a great opening weekend, and we still got Mr. and Mrs. Belichick tomorrow night against TCU to watch as well. Let's see. Daniel Massoud, what do we think the plan is for Aeneas Williams once he gets fully healthy?
I think he's got a bit of a significant road back to get fully healthy.
Okay. I'd like to see him just use any running backs, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. It's there was a moment, I did not see this, but I think there was a moment where like Nolan James almost came into the game tonight, or
goal line, right? I think.
Yeah. I think Williams' elbow is a problem. So I think he hurt it early in camp and then re-aggravated it. So I don't know how long it will take for him to be all the way back, but but I guess the question Daniel's asking is like, well, what's the plan when he's fully healthy? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would rather give those touches to Love and Price before I gave them to Aeneas Williams. The working the 2-back set never happened tonight. Thought it'd be something that could be a fun changeup for the offense that really, you get 2 of your most dynamic playmakers out there at the same time. I think they were more likely to go 4 wide receivers than they were 2 backs, because I think there were a couple snaps where maybe they had 4 wide out there.
I just had one here. Comment again. Comment 12489. Over under 30.5 touches for Love, Price against A&M.
Over. Like if you bet it now,
it should be over. But do you think it'll be over?
Yes, I think because it's there will be an overcorrection for it. And like that's.
I hope you're right. I don't know.
Frustrating things to me is like when I wrote about Love in the preseason, talked to Jawan Sider, and it's like, I asked, how many touches are too many touches? And we were talking about, and he was like, okay, well, depends on the game. So we were like, okay, big games, 18 to 25. I was like, all right, well, if Love's at like 20 touches, that's great. And what, he got to 16 and Price was 6? Like, that's
14.
Yeah, that's not 20 touches total between the two of them. Like, they should almost have, well, not gonna both have 20 touches, but Love should have 20 touches, Price should have 15. So I would go over on this one. I think there will be a course correction there. Also didn't see Love returning kickoffs, which is something we were told was probably going to happen. So that was kind of a drag.
Yeah, I just yes, it should be over 30.5. It was 20 combined tonight, for context sake. Yeah, I think it should be. I don't know if it will be. Do you think? I mean, we can go back and look. Have they done that in a game? I don't think so yet. It felt like Price got more than he actually did, but he made the most of those opportunities. But you got to do better than 93 rushing yards in first game of a new starting quarterback, especially when your receivers are not stepping up. Like, that's just, you got to do better. Like, for all the negatives and things Notre Dame didn't do great that we spent the last 56 plus minutes talking about, we're sitting here talking about them losing on a field goal to a really talented football team on the road, which is, again, why I'm not concerned. A&M will be interesting. Who's A&M? A&M plays this week, right? They got somebody.
Yeah, I mean, they're not
UPSA
off.
hung with them.
They played at least nobody, though.
For some points.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, A&M, you should have a pretty good read on who A&M is by the time they show up here. I think that they're good. I don't think they're as good as Miami.
Utah State.
Yeah. Games here, not there. Here being South Bend, not there being Kyle Field. Like, it's like Notre Dame should, like, Miami was, to me, always the tougher game than A&M. For multiple reasons, and the fact that it played out this way, and they were -2 in the turnover margin and lost by 3 points, I don't think it's something that you have to get that worked up about. Like, and yes, could Miami have turned that for the Fields fumble into a touchdown or at least a competent field goal? Yeah, they could have done that. But they also might not make a one-handed touchdown reception from a guy who had 0 touchdown catches last year at LSU. So it's, I think there's a lot of what if plays in this game. But the what if that will not happen the next time Notre Dame plays is, what if we gave the ball to Love more? Like, no, you're just going to do that. Like, I
hope you're right.
It was not hard to read Freeman today post game, because he was just like, if you have to, like, think about this. They had to talk as a staff at halftime about giving the ball more to their best player. Like, what is, like, that conversation shouldn't happen. Like, that should happen on Tuesday, not on Saturday.
I don't remember the text of Freeman's answers, and you asked him about it, I believe, but it was, the body language and tone certainly was like, yep,
that was a mistake.
We know. Back, we'll figure it out. So let's hope they do. Will we record this week? We should.
Yeah.
Let's get a guest. We won't have next Saturday. He'll probably be at the concert.
Oh, I will 100% be at the concert.
I got my block party, so that's good timing for once.
Yeah.
I can never go to it because I'm always at a game. I can actually go to it now.
We'll get a midweek show in for sure.
We will have a midweek show. We will not have a post-game show. And yeah, there's still a lot to talk about. I look forward to going back, watching this game, seeing where I was wrong, seeing where they were wrong, seeing if there are any great revelations that haven't crossed our minds yet. But it was a game that featured a little bit of everything, a lot to pick apart from it. But yeah, I can't sit here and go full Brian Kelly week 1 last year and on the table and
you're so angry. Is that what you're saying?
Say what's wrong with these guys? the CJ Carr element has me more encouraged. So
yeah, I think that is the healthy and correct way to look at Notre Dame losing to Miami by 3 points. It's not, you have the quarterback figured out. It's the most important thing to have figured out in a program if you're ever going to go anywhere. Their lines are both good. They weren't always good against Miami, but like Miami's lines are really good. Like Miami's offensive line, it is an incredibly well-built offensive line. It's like 320 pounds, 330 pounds all across the board. I mean, they have a 6'9" left tackle or something. It is an insane group of talent that Mario Cristobal has put together there, and it showed. Like they played well, and it's not like Boubacar Traore didn't make a bunch of plays. Like that happened when they needed as the game was starting to feel like it slipped away. They made some stops. Like, did they make every stop on the game-winning drive? Obviously not, but it. I don't know. I just sort of look at where Notre Dame is right now, and I would be more encouraged than I would be discouraged if I was a Notre Dame fan.
We'll end on that note. He's Pete Sampson. I'm at Fortuna. Read his work on The Athletic. Read mine on the Inside Zone. Please subscribe to both. Got to see your Jeremiah Love story in the print edition of The Gray Lady this weekend. Yeah. Someone sent it. Someone actually sent it to me. I was like, great. I know that guy, and I've already read it. Thanks. And maybe Notre Dame coaches, coaches can get a copy and read it and say, "Hey, this guy's on our roster. We should use him for Texas A&M."
Here, read all about it. Jeremiah Love. Yeah, that'd be great. I think that we will see that. I think that will be a question that is asked multiple ways over the next couple of weeks, and Notre Dame coaches and players will do their best not to roll their eyes while answering it, because they know. Jeremiah Love's there. You don't have him much longer. Enjoy it. Well, you got it. Put it to work.
Awesome. You don't have us longer anymore either. We're going to write and then go to sleep. Thank you all for joining us. Count 150 of you in here right now. I'm sure we'll see thousands more when we wake up in the morning. Continue to subscribe, follow, submit questions, tweet at us. You know the deal. And if you got shirt ideas, send them our way as well. Got a few that we're excited to release here in the next couple of weeks with obvious shirts as well. So he's Pete. I'm Matt. Notre Dame loses 27-24 to Miami in week 1. We'll be back with you later this week. Thanks, guys.